Hi everyone, Anna here with the Coding Guild. Today I would like to share my experience with you on the CCVTC credentialing exam and give you some insights into what it was like, how to get ready, what to expect, and what I wish I had had more notes on. First of all, I have to say that this exam is hard. This was my 10th credential, and I can safely say that this is the second hardest I have ever had to sit for, secondary only to the CIC. Officially, this credential is for cardiovascular and thoracic coding, but the version of the exam I received was geared more towards the thoracic part. I didn't see many vascular coding examples, but keep in mind that there are several versions of every exam, so your experience might differ from mine. The format of this exam is the same as any other AAPC exam, so it is 150 questions, multiple choice, and we have to answer them in 5 hours and 40 minutes. There are some significant differences though, so if you have experience with core credentials such as the CPC, COC or CRC, this exam will be different. Just like any other specialty credentialing exam, this one was also entirely note-based. So there are no shortened quick questions or quick scenarios. Every single case you get is a full-blown operative note or a full evaluation and management chart. Another significant difference compared to core credentialing exams is how the questions and answers are presented to the examinee. On core credentialing exams, we know that code combinations might be listed under one answer choice. For example, if we have a surgical note and it needs 3 different codes to code compliantly, on a core credentialing exam, we will most probably have answer A with 3 codes, answer B with another set of 3 codes, answer C with another set of 3 codes, and so on. Now this exam, and like any other specialty exam really, does it differently. Here, the answers you need, those 3 codes, will not be listed under one question, but will be broken out into 3, 4, or as many codes you need. So for example, on my exam, I had surgical case on the heart, and I knew it would need 3 different codes. I had 6 or 7 questions associated with this note, and it looked like this. The first question asked me which CPT code would be sequenced first, and then I was given 4 different codes, but only one per answer choice. So answer A was 1 code, answer B was a comparable code but only one, answer C just 1 code, etc. Then the second question asked about the second CPT code necessary for this case. Again, I was given only 1 code per choice. Then the third question did the same. The fourth question asked about any potential modifiers I need to add to the case. The fifth question asked about first listed diagnosis. The 6th question about second listing diagnosis, and then the 7th question asked something about global days or something. I don't remember that anymore, to be honest. But the point is that this exam breaks out the different answers and questions into more than one possibility. Another thing I would like to emphasize with the questions and answers for this exam is that more often than not, you will have the choice to say none of the above. There are several questions when the exam asks you whether you would like to assign any more codes. Would there be anything else appropriate for this case? And then it will give you 1 code or some code combinations or whatever as answer opportunities, but it will also give you the none of the above choice. And this is significant because it means that the exam really expects you to know what you are doing, to really know what the guidelines are. So what is there to know? What kind of cases did I see on the exam? Unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly what questions they give me, but I can give you some pointers as to what to study. First and foremost, know the entire cardiovascular section of the CPT like the back of your hand. My version of the test asked from almost every subsection that you can find in the CPT book within that chapter. And yes, my cases were geared more towards thoracic surgery and not vascular, but somehow the exam writers found a way to work vascular stuff into those cases as well. So there was catheterization, stent placement, and all those other things you would expect. Another huge chunk of this test was pulmonary procedures. Review anything and everything you can find on the lungs, because trust me, you will need those guidelines. In addition, I recommend you review all cardiovascular related guidelines in the medicine and radiology sections. The questions I got here weren't hard, but it needed some background knowledge on the guidelines and the codes and how they differ. And this is something that I can say in general about this exam. It is very important that you understand the differences between similar codes. For example, the CCVTC study guide lists pulmonary decortication as one of the surgical procedures the examinee will be tested on. If you reference this procedure in the CPT book, you will see that there are several codes that can cover pulmonary decortication, and it is very important you understand what exactly the differences are. The same goes for lung biopsies, valve repairs, heart surgical codes, vascular bypasses, and so on, because the test will present you with a procedure note where the code choices are extremely similar. To know exactly what to look into, I highly recommend the CCVTC study guide. I did not purchase the study guide, but I pulled up the table of contents just to see the different procedures they will be testing on, and that is something I recommend as well. I put the link in the description below. Other materials AAPC has to help you get prepared for this exam are the specialty training course and the practice exam. The specialty training course was only marginally helpful, to be honest, but I bought it for $49 when it was on sale, so it was still worth it for the 4 CEUs and the 35 additional questions I got with it. But to be honest, I can't really recommend it for the usual $100 purchase price. I don't want to go into much detail on this because I already have a full-length video on this. If interested, please check it out up there, and I also put it in the description below. In contrast, the practice exam was very useful, although probably not the way you might assume. The practice questions are way easier than the real thing, okay? So the credentialing exam is brutal compared to anything AAPC throws at you during preparation. But what the practice exam did help me with is to see what kind of reimbursement and compliance related questions I can expect on the exam. For example, the practice cases alerted me to the fact that I have to remember which procedures are allowed to be billed with assistant surgeon modifiers, team surgery, etc., and which ones aren't. Another thing is that the cases reminded me that I have to remember by heart which procedure has 0, 10, or 90 global days, because that will factor into answers on the real exam. The third thing the practice exam helped me with is EM coding. Believe it or not, the CCVTC has tons of EM cases in it, and not two are the same. The exam uses 2021 guidelines, 95 guidelines, 97 guidelines, and the examinee also needs to know additional EM guidance such as split shared visits, incident to, teaching rules, observation, emergency department coding, etc. The practice cases are really good at gauging what to review from the EM section. What I wish I had had more notes on and some final remarks. Number 1, know the specialty related abbreviations. I had a ton of notes on this just to make sure, and I still came across a question where I couldn't answer what the abbreviation stood for because I just didn't remember. I see it every day in operative notes and I understand it as is, what it means, but I just couldn't recall what the abbreviation stands for, so that was 1 point foolishly wasted. Learn from my mistakes and make sure that you have all the abbreviations spelled out to you while you are getting ready. Number 2, HCPCS coding. Don't worry about that one. I could have forgotten my book at home and I would have been fine. Number 3, diagnosis coding. I recommend you use the index for assigning diagnoses for this exam and check all the instructional notes. This exam loves subterfuge and will try to trick you into using codes that are similar sounding, but they are totally incorrect. Unless you are very familiar with the condition you are coding for, like angina or CAD or aortic disease or whatever, I really recommend you look it up in the index and see where it leads to. Number 4, please do not go into this exam thinking that the process of elimination will be enough. Unfortunately, about 80% of the answers cannot be figured out using this method because you will either have the chance to say none of the above, or because the provided answers will be very, very similar and the correct answer lies in the guidelines. So just by quickly comparing which code descriptor says what, you can figure it out. You really have to know the guidelines and what's going on. And number 5, time management. As already mentioned, the notes and cases will have several questions associated with them. So just one operative note might have 2 to 10 questions related to it. Unless you immediately know the answer to some of the questions, just skip the whole thing and save time. For example, I had a quite complex heart surgical case at the beginning of my exam, and it spanned about 3 pages, but only had 2 questions associated with it. Of course, I immediately skipped it and I went on to an EM case that was only 1 page long but had 6 questions in connection with it. 6 resources to have on your exam. AAPC allows for the following resources as listed on the bottom of the CCVTC Specialty Credentialing Exam page. The AMA CPT book, any ICD-10 book of your choosing, any HCPCS coding book. In addition, anatomical charts or pictures of the vascular tree. These can have codes on them. Honestly, I didn't have it, I didn't need it. My version, as I said, wasn't very heavy on vascular coding, so just having the CPT appendix was more than enough for me. You can also have an EM audit worksheet with you and both the 95 and 97 guidelines. I had my simplified 2021 EM grid with me, link in the description below, and both sets of these guidelines, and I definitely needed them, especially the 97 version. I can't say more about this, but please review the 97 guidelines and have them with you for the exam. And finally, AAPC allows you to have a reference of your choice. I had this one with me from Optum, the Cardiovascular and Cardiothoracic Surgery Coding book. This is brilliant because it actually has the global days in it and all the modifiers that are applicable with every single code. See? So you don't have to remember the global days and which modifiers are applicable with the code. I would say either have this one or Dr. Z's thoracic surgery coding book, because the exam will ask about global surgery or you will have to know which modifiers to use. And with that said, I believe I have covered everything, but if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out via email or via Facebook. All the links will be in the description below. I wish you all the best and success on your exam. Thank you for being here with me today. I will see you soon in our next video.